Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rachel Sher. I'm a manager for Alameda County Library in California, and my co-presenter today is Blaine Wentworth. He manages the Union City Library.
Hello.
I heard an uh-oh.
No, hello.
Oh, hello. Sorry. And today we're going to talk about our experience starting a mental health group, a staff mental health group. And as a reminder that the founding partner for this conference is San Jose State University. And so we call ourselves MHI, short for Mental Health Interest Group. It's made up of approximately 50 library staff representing all the classifications in our system. That photo you see there are just some of the members. And this was taken on a staff day with an 80s theme, which explains some of our attire. So a little history. Before this group got started, we had received a grant. A few of us were working on a program through a mental health initiative grant through the California Center for the Book and the California Library Association to work on mental health programming and partnerships. We read books, we had speakers. It was a great program. And then just a few months into it, COVID hit. And so we had to pivot from our original plan to do public in-person programs and partnerships to rethink those programs. And we did. We actually set up a bunch of remote programs with our behavioral health department for the county and some other programs as well. And then that year in May, for Mental Health Awareness Month, I was putting together a blog post for our library website on Mental Health Awareness Month and the programs that were happening. And I sort of was looking through all the programs we have, and we're a pretty big system. So, and there's a lot of programs going on at all of our locations. So I didn't have a handle on all the programs that were happening, but I discovered in putting that blog post together that there were a lot of other locations also doing mental health programming. So I was like, oh, it would be good if we could coordinate our efforts. And so I just put a call out to all staff to see who was interested in being part of a group. We didn't know what direction this group would take. We initially thought, oh, we'll focus on coordinating public programs, but pretty quickly we realized that we wanted to focus inward first, that we were experiencing a lot of stress due to the demands not only of the pandemic, but just of public library work, or not just public library work, I'm sure. I've worked in other library settings. Increasing demands, mission creep, vocational awe. There are just lack of resources in other areas of the community that we were expected to sort of respond to, or even if we weren't expected to respond to, we were still experiencing at least the secondary trauma of helping people that were lacking the resources they needed. We started coming up with a bunch of different ideas. And today we're going to just talk about the first three, but I'll briefly run through these. So one of the first things we did was we started these mindfulness breaks, which I'll talk a little bit about soon. They're weekly, and they're just short periods for staff to get together and do mindfulness exercises together. And we're doing this online. So all the locations, even though we're geographically far apart, we can come together. And then we've come up with some recommendations for staff support that we're, still working on. This is a work in progress. We're working on a Calming Corners project, which Blaine is also going to talk about. We have monthly meetings, and we mostly talk again about staff initiatives, but we also have, we talk about public programs as well, which is the next thing on that list. We have special events and discussions for staff. So we've had someone lead a full meditation session and talk. We've had someone from mental health scene. We had a couple of speakers from mental health scene. So we have special speakers come and talk to our group. We've come up with together collaboratively some mindful communication tips for communicating with your colleagues and with the public. And then we've compiled local mental health resources and national, but mostly focusing on local mental health resources that we've shared with the staff. So if someone needs a referral, that's more readily available. So I'm going to talk about the first one on our list, the mindfulness breaks. So in our meetings, we, like I said, quickly realized that we needed to focus on our staff mental health in order to help the public. And we feel like we have there's a culture, not just in our library, but I think in a lot of libraries, of focusing on helping people and not focusing inward. And it's really hard to take a break. In addition, lots of libraries are understaffed. So it feels like you can't take a break. And we wanted to set aside a time that was really sanctioned, and we have the full support of our library leadership on this. Sanctioned time during your workday to just get centered and be mindful and be in the present moment. And you can get back to your workday, but we keep them short. We came up with 20 minutes. We did do a survey in the beginning to ask people what length they wanted these, and we really came up with a time that we thought managers could support, because it's not like a huge portion of the workday, and that not just managers could support, but people would maybe be more likely to attend. We also chose a time that we thought most people would be there. Of course, doesn't always work for everyone. We sometimes try to mix it up and offer it at a slightly different time, but we have basically a regular schedule we stick to, so that we're reliable. Even if one person shows up, some days we have 20 people show up, some days we have 1 or 2 people show up, we still do it, so that we're people can count on us. And it's led by staff, including Blaine and myself. We all take turns. None of us, I think, have experience leading mindfulness exercises or meditations prior to this, but the idea is not that we are experts. It's more that we are doing this together to sort of promote well-being in the workplace and a culture of acceptance for self-care. I do remember, like, early on, before we started these mindfulness breaks, I tried something in my own branch that I manage. And I just told staff, here's a list of some suggested mindfulness exercises. I'm going to tell you at the end of today to take 10 minutes to just do whatever you want, and then we're going to regroup and talk about it. And I had, even though I was sanctioning it and saying, this is okay, you can go ahead and do this, I had a lot of staff that were asking, do I have to do this? I have so much work to do. I can't stop 10 minutes before. And I kept telling them, try to think of it as, that's the end of your workday instead of 10 minutes later. But I still had some people that really appreciated it, and some people that were like, oh, I can't do this. I can't take 10 minutes. So we really want to keep them short, but also they're opt-in. So nobody is required to go to these, and all the branches, people from all branches, and not just branches, but we have mobile library services and social justice services that aren't in a specific location, they can participate. And I will let Blaine take over now. I'm going to mute my.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Rachel. Yeah. So as Rachel was saying, I joined pretty early on when we started this initiative. And yeah, I did not have much experience with meditating, or certainly not leading meditating, but it was a great experience to, now we're 2 years in. So I would say now I do have experience. It only takes that much time, right? You just start doing it. But so with our staff support, we actually had finally were able to hold an in-person staff day where we closed all the libraries for a day, and all of our staff from across the county were able to meet up. And actually what we did was all of the initiatives that started throughout the pandemic for the library, we had others like that kind of covered justice, equity, diversity, inclusion, and other programming in community languages. And so we were able to meet with the people in person, and we took the opportunity to have a survey so we could sort of get more feedback from the larger staff potentially. It actually, well, I guess let's go to the next slide, actually, Rachel, if I can.
Sorry, I'm trying.
Oh, sure.
There we go. Oh,
one back. Yeah. So we were, we asked some key questions that we wanted to see where we would maybe put more of our efforts and time, as we've been doing weekly meditation, but we knew that this could expand. As you can see, we had a little room, we put up these questions, and we had staff vote for as many of these as they would like. And as you can see, one of them definitely had the most responses, which was the trainings to have, with difficult conversations. And this is something that we actually are addressing right now. We are in talks with an organization to lead anti-racism and race equity and inclusion work for staff, and in having those conversations. And we are, and then on here, the other two that that kind of got a lot of responses were the mindfulness space at our locations. And that is something that as a, I'm sure some of you are from even larger systems than our own. We have, a main branch, we have small little neighborhood libraries, we have a social justice team, a bookmobile. And what we wanted to do was, in building a mindfulness space, pick a small branch, the large branch, and then the bookmobile, so that we would have the opportunity to build out these potential kits that could help staff. And so so they all will look different in that at our main branch. There already is sort of space, and in that space we will, what we heard feedback from was that people would like to have, like noise canceling headphones, like a Zen garden, on a micro level to use as a, a calming opportunity. Having like potentially like tea and scents that for calming, that would hopefully support that. Other like guides potentially, like on that could be posters in the room, or a flip book for quick meditation, yoga, and so in that we are building out the physical spaces in the branches, and then having smaller kits for the that can be on the bookmobile. And so that might look like a bag with noise canceling headphones in them, and potentially like a fidget spinner and other things, like a soft pillow, maybe a tactile like tools, and potentially even like a folding screen to put up, so you could create a space. And so, yeah, that staff day luckily came right at the end of last year. And so we've been working on all of these initiatives over the last 4 or 5 months now. And so, like I was saying, we already, we're working on building out those kits and delivering them within the next month, and having these trainings in the next month also. And yeah, and then here are some of the resources that we've been using, from apps to websites that have a huge list of guides and self-guided meditations. This is just a little bit of that. And yeah, I don't know, maybe we will now be able to leave some time for questions.
There has been one question, I think it's rather funny. It says, is that post-it on your screen that had the post-it suggesting getting rid of humans to resolve elevated levels of CO2? Because I approve.
There were a few interesting things put on that that one post-it. I would have to go back and look how that was phrased.
We just had another question come through. I'm just going to read the question. How do you manage not getting burnt out on the mindfulness/mental health work? There's a couple other questions, but I'll let you answer that one first.
Yeah, I think some people do get burnt out, to be totally honest. I haven't gotten burnt out because I find like some purpose in it. I feel like change, this kind of cultural change is really slow, and you have to just keep at it. And I have seen I've also seen like a difference, not only in my in like the feedback I've gotten from people who do participate, but also in my own mental health. So I've been doing meditation on my own for a while, but now like sharing it out, it makes me feel good about about work, because people are responding and saying that it helps them. And I feel like well, not only do we have the support of leadership, but I do really feel like change is happening, even though it's really slow. But yeah, there have been some people, the reason why we take turns leading them is because there are some people who get discouraged if they have one and not a lot of people show up. I should also add that we try to not always do like the same kind of meditation or mindfulness exercise, because meditation, it means different things to different people, and different styles work for different people. So we're really trying to just introduce people to help them find their way. So we're not very didactic with, it always has to be a silent meditation. Sometimes we do like interesting exercises. Like the other day we did one where we imagined we each had like one of our senses was a superpower, and just trying to like be alert to all the things for that sense. So I pull things from kids' meditation books as well. So it's not all, we do guided imagery. We just try to offer a variety of mindfulness exercises.
Yeah. So Leah, we, as Rachel mentioned, we did get, we actually received a lot of support from our admin pretty easily. I know that's not always the case, but they really supported it. Our county librarian attends almost all of the meditations that she can. We have a lot of, yeah, I would say that part we have the support. So we've been attempting to, we want to keep growing it, because as Rachel mentioned earlier, and to answer Joanna's a few more of the questions you had in there, like we sort of saw a large, we've seen people leave our group due to burnout of and as Rachel mentioned earlier, we really want the continuity there. So we are going to keep offering them every time, no matter how many people show up, because we want this to continue. And yeah, we've seen the importance in it, and we know we have the support, so we want to just keep it going as much as we and as long as we can.
Yeah, and those people are always welcome to come and go. So there are some people who feel like, I can't even take 20 minutes or once a month meetings. Like I just cannot do that right now. And we always let those people know that, whenever they're ready to come back, the door is always open.
And if I am leading a meditation, I actually like the days I don't, because then I'll close the ref desk and just work from the circulation desk, and then have all of our staff participate if I can. I would prefer to have our staff participate as much and as often as they can, because I do feel like the workday is relentless, but you have it. I would rather take on the whatever is for the 20 minutes that the branch, the needs of the community, I feel like I can meet them and have staff, take this moment for themselves. But that isn't how all managers approach it, or But we do want to see, we know that we have the support, but having the staff understand that they could participate is still part of the breakthrough we need. So Lee, or I don't know if I'm saying that right, no one is compensated for this. Rachel and I both just put the time in. Sometimes might be, you know, we're thinking about it off hours, but we try to do it within the day. So for SMEY, I won't butcher that. I apologize. So that question is, do staff in this group have a limited time to serve? How do you accommodate new staff who might want to participate? We just hired a new clerk. They're very interested in it. And I told them that, you know, if they want to participate, that's fine. All of the staff knew we have a lot of initiatives, as I mentioned, from our Justice, Equity, Diversity, Inclusion group to all the community language programming groups and things like that. So we try to encourage all staff to participate in as many as initiatives as they can.
I wasn't sure if you were asking about if they're participating in the mindfulness breaks, because that's really open. Well, everything's open for everyone, but we also have a email list that goes out to all the people who have said that they're interested. So they get reminders about the mindfulness breaks. They get, you know, invitations to the meetings, and it's helpful to have support from your leadership, because we keep reminding people that this is okay to do during your workday. Obviously, if they have a program right at that time, or a meeting, or, you know, some other work, time-sensitive work duty, then they can't attend. But if they have something that can be set down, or if they can rearrange the desk schedule so that, you know, they can be off desk and attend, then we try to encourage that. And we try to encourage all the other managers to do that as well. And we do have a lot of managers in our group, so they don't lead the meetings or the mindfulness breaks, but they definitely support this work.
We have a couple minutes left, everybody. So if you have any last minute questions, please go ahead and put them in the chat now, and we will try to get them answered before we need to sign off.
I could quickly talk about the one other thing that was like the third voted thing was transparent incident reporting. Yeah, we got that idea from the urban library trauma study. But we asked, and people really felt like there wasn't enough follow-up after incidents. So that's part of what that Calming Corners project came out of as well. It's like, after you have a stressful incident at work, to have someplace to go and decompress is really important. And then to have, especially somebody in administration, reach out and follow up with you and make sure you're okay. Yeah, we're trying to build that into our suggestions for policies as well.
Yeah, CD, I really like UCLA's mindfulness meditations list too.
Oh, that's a good idea, Kathy. We haven't been like, I mean, our job postings are very structured, but I don't see why. I mean, the union, I think, has to approve every job description, but this isn't a job description. It's like more of a benefit. So I don't see why they couldn't add it. It's a good idea.
Yeah, I like that.
There's one last
Um,
question about anywhere else that you would
yeah,
recommend maybe to
from
get help.
Misty.
Yeah, from Misty.
Oh, well, I mean, there's some national organizations like National Alliance on Mental Illness. We've worked with them on a lot of programs. Your local EAP program. We learned that a lot of people
Mhm.
don't take advantage of their EAP programs because they fear like that it will get back to their supervisors, but really making sure people understand that that really is private. And promoting it in the workplace. Do you have any others, Blaine? Oh, EAP stands for Employee Assistance Program. Not every organization has it, but a lot of organizations have one where you can call to get help for a variety of things, not just mental health, but some do like financial, like somebody to help you with your budget or legal advice. There's, yeah.
So it is 5:30. We're gonna have to sign off.
Yeah.
Their contact information is up on the screen. If you guys have other questions, feel free to reach out. And the closing session looks like it is about to start if you guys want to attend that. And I am going to stop the recording.
Okay, well, thank you for all attending.
Bye.